Hey everybody, this is JCTheSniper coming to you with another blade review. And today I'm reviewing the Kershaw Oso Sweet. This knife right here. I'm a fan of this knife. I think it's a good knife. And it's got a couple of little different things going on with it that you won't see on most knives. First of all, no thumb stud at all. Nothing there to flip open. Instead, there's a finger flipper on the back, which I'm a fan of, as you've seen with my Columbia River M1603Z and my Gerber Evo, both of which I've reviewed and compared in the project that I've been taking on here. And I like that finger flipper, and I think it's fast and an efficient way to open a blade. I don't even use the thumb stud anymore on these, because this finger flipper is just so fast. I mean, you can see I can get that thing out quick. This isn't assisted in any way, but that blade just pops right out of there. So, I like the finger flipper. I think it's a good design. And this Kershaw Oso Sweet has that finger flipper as well, which I like. But along with the finger flipper, this has what they call, I believe, speed safe assisted opening. And it opens quick, as you can see there. I don't have to really flip it, it's just a little bit of a touch and it pops open. So that speed safe assisted opening works really well with this knife. That thing comes out quick. I mean, that's one of the fastest opening knives that I've used, especially with assisted opening. I've noticed that some knives that have assisted opening, you pop it and it just kind of it just kind of slowly comes out of there. This one's not like that. I mean, that thing is coming out. But no thumb stud, which is a little bit different, but I don't mind it. It does make a little bit of a lower profile because I don't have to pop that out above the handle, and they can also put the handle right up to the edge of the blade almost, because they don't have to give you space to get to that thumb stud. So, I kind of like that, because like I say, I don't use that thumb stud on my other knives that have the finger flipper, so I don't really need it. And I think that's a perfectly adequate way of opening a knife, and I prefer it to the thumb stud. So that's an interesting feature. Let's see here, moving on down the talking points. Philosophy of use for this knife. This is an everyday carry knife, maybe with a tactical application if you had to. Probably not the best knife for a tactical situation, but it would be serviceable if you needed to. It grips pretty well, and you could use that for some stabbing attacks. It's got some belly there for some slicing attacks. But primarily it's an EDC blade. It's not what I'm going to pick if I'm going to, if I need a tactical knife, I'm not going to pick this. I think I'd rather have my Columbia River, just because this is, I think, a little bit of a better knife for a tactical situation. So, EDC blade, everyday carry, and I think it's perfectly adequate for that, and I think it's actually quite excellent for that. Size and weight of this particular knife, according to the manufacturer, the blade length is 3.5 inches, closed length 4 3/8, and the weight is 4.2 ounces, according to the manufacturer, of course. So these things may not be exactly accurate, but I think it's pretty close. So it's on a little bit on the heavy side. For, 3.5 inch blade, that's pretty good. That's a good blade length. It's pretty close to my Columbia River. You can see the Columbia River's got a little bit of extra blade length on there, because I think the Columbia River claims the blade length is 3.5 inches on this knife, but I think it's closer to 4. And you can see it's a little bit longer than the Oso, which also claims to be 3.5 inches. So a little bit shorter than this, and also a little bit shorter than the Evo, but that's a good blade length. I like 3.5 inches. I think for an everyday carry blade it's good because it's not too long that you start to get, you know, a real long knife, especially if you need something smaller. So that's a good size blade. 4.2 ounces, like I said, is a little bit heavy. If you consider the fact that this Columbia River knife and tool is 3.8 ounces, you know, a little bit on the heavy side. And I think that mostly comes, look at the thickness of that blade, if you can see that. Open. That's a thick blade. And also, these stainless steel liners here are not skeletonized, so those are solid stainless steel liners. And that's going to add a little bit of weight. However, that also adds some good strength, because this thing locks up tight, and I think it's pretty strong. Maybe not the strongest liner lock ever, but definitely adequate for EDC, and probably also adequate for emergency tactical use. So, a little bit on the heavy side, but I'm not going to knock it too much for that. Blade shape, I like the blade shape. I think this is a great blade shape. It's flat ground, and it's about a 3/4 flat grind, as you can see. I think some earlier versions might have been full flat ground, but this one's only partially flat ground. I'd like it a little bit better if it were full flat ground, but I think the partial flat grind is adequate, so I don't think that's a problem. So it is a 3/4 flat grind, so you're going to be able to, you know, slicing will be fine for you with that. Yeah, so I like that, and I like this. It's kind of a little bit of a modified drop point, I guess, and I think that's a beautiful blade shape. I just think that, I think it's aesthetically appealing, and yeah, I like that blade shape. Got some belly here, and also tapers to a pretty nice point. So that's kind of cool. Steel. This blade is an Aus 6A steel, which I don't really have much experience with. The Kershaw or Columbia River here is an Aus 8 steel, and I've had excellent luck with the Aus 8. I think that's a good steel. I like it, but don't really have any experience with the Aus 6. One thing I will say for it is this thing is razor sharp. Let me show you a little bit here, if I can. You see that? I mean, it is sharp. Those edges are perfectly straight, and it slices real well. So that's a sharp knife. And I just took this out of the box. You know, I haven't cut anything with it since I've taken it out of the box anyway. Been out of the box for a little while, I've been playing with it, but other than paper, haven't cut anything. And that is a razor sharp blade, which is an excellent job, Kershaw, because I believe a blade should come sharp from the factory. I mean, why would you ship a dull blade? It's supposed to cut things. I just really don't understand manufacturers that ship dull knives. It irritates me, but Kershaw's done an excellent job with this one, so it is razor sharp. Which, you know, also is somewhat a factor from the steel, because some steels won't take that edge. So this steel we know will handle a good edge, and I think for everyday carry, this steel's probably going to be perfectly adequate. Kershaw does a good job with their blade steels in general. I've never heard anyone complaining about the blade steel on the Kershaw, and the Kershaws that I've had, the blade steel's been excellent. Held up well, holds an edge good, so I'm going to say this one will probably be just as excellent. I'm running short on time here, so we're going to go to part 2. So this is the end of part 1. JC the Sniper signing off.